Welcome to Project Pack number 10, day 6. My name is Rick.
Hi, I'm Maria, and today I'm going to work on a page of borders. One of my favorite things, and I keep going back to this because it's something that I use all the time, and I use it in different ways. And we have a page just special for borders.
And that page
that would be page, where is it? There it is, L4.
L4.
So we're going to do, go back and forth with tangles that were designed to be borders, and then using regular tangles that
you might not expect
to be borders, right? So here I was just showing you something I did on one of the tiles, and I took a couple of tangles that we've used and constructed a border, which you can use in all different ways. On number 5, I'm going to be working with poke leaf, and I love to do poke leaf in borders because of my background in manuscripts and illuminated letters and things like that. The shape of the leaf, to me, fills the space so elegantly that you don't even realize. It was almost like it was made to be a border.
Yeah, and you can see how it like grips the side or goes into the corners.
I'm giving it a couple of little details too that just give it some character. Tiny lines, like those lines where the stem is, just a little bit more. And then I'm giving it a little overlap on the leaf. A simple little 3-dimensional stroke.
At that little curve, that's all it takes. And it's all built in a hollow bar fashion, so each one is layered behind the one above it.
Look how elegantly it fits the space with almost no background. And I'm sure you could do it even more so. I'm just not forcing it.
Well, sometimes when it's not just perfectly next to it, it looks more like a leaf.
See how that one's almost, it takes up the whole space. But I love this pattern and used this way.
Go right up in the corner there. So one direction, the other direction, right?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Simple. I'm going back to my black pen now. Doesn't matter which one you use, but if you're following along. And instead of filling in the background, I'm just doing these little auras in there, and it darkens it without adding black. And it goes pretty quickly if you don't have a lot of time, or if you want just something a little different. It has this woodcut feeling. That's what I'm working at on this one.
And it builds off the, you can always change your mind.
Well, you can change your mind. Well, I'm going to show you the difference.
And I like that you use the black for that, because it just, blends in with the black of the frame there that you started with.
So you can see both ways of doing it. I kind of like the first one, but I know that...
I like this one. So there you go.
You like the black?
And whatever you're doing out there, this is another example of... Yeah, you get to decide. This is a nice exercise in taking tangles that both are intuitively borders and then ones that aren't intuitively borders.
Or say that you tried it the first way and you say, I'm not sure about it. And it gives you an option to do it a different way afterwards without really anybody knowing about it. It's like your secret tangling.
Except everybody else knows about this now.
Now they do, yeah.
That's nice.
So you can see that border in there, how it looks. How fun. Oh, I'm going in with the black so you can see. And you could put anything in that little frame. You could put a letter or a little character or a bijou or, something.
Postage stamp.
A postage stamp would be lovely.
Right.
Nice. Cadent as a border.
I've never seen that.
You've never seen this one.
I was impressed. I was impressed.
Really?
I was.
It's hard for me to impress you.
Like, what is that? So cadent starts usually with a pegboard grid of orbs, but in this case it's a border. Well, it's just one line of orbs.
One down the center.
And you'll notice you go over those like multiple times. So
That's with the brown pen,
I think it's with the brown, yes. So taking off and in one direction, and that sort of makes sense. Instead of like doing all 4 directions and turning and turning and turning, you're just like picking one and...
Well, I thought this would be a way that, then you just turn it over and do exactly the same thing.
Totally works. So you see how Maria's actually retracing that orb. So when you take off, when you leave the orb, it has the curve is a gentle transition. And then the other part of cadent, there we go. So cadent is usually all tied together with these either number 2 or S shape. So in this case, it's a 2 shape. It's just fun to watch. And then instead of loading up the graph, you did some of the internal parts too. So you can do the elements or the overall shape for the graphite, or both. Neat.
So you can see I'm just going underneath where the lines are meeting the orb and just giving it some shades of gray, a little interest, a little bit of a weaving. And then I like to go back in and fill the orbs, but just a little bit, not completely. It's kind of cool. I like that.
Nice molding.
Nice. So I thought it would be kind of fun to do borders with fragments. It's such a simple thing. I mean, why not, right? This is F2 from the Primer.
Primer Volume 1.
Volume 1. And I'm doing the fragment mirrored, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
So first it goes one way and then it goes the other way.
Right, it's mirrored and then stacked over it.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's aura is your friend.
Mm. This was fun to do. I really enjoyed this. And the whole idea of taking fragments, there's so many, and people have been adding fragments.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many to work with. I can't wait to see what people do with that.
So switch to the brown.
So peeking in there with the brown pen, I'm going to put like a half of a square, kind of like somebody put a letter in a mailbox and it's half hanging out.
Or a little, what are those things in a coat pocket?
A pocket square?
A little pocket square.
Yeah, that could, sort of like that, yeah. The brown, it's a beautiful reddish brown. When when you use it as a solid, it's just so different than using it as just a line.
Hmm.
I'm just adding some love.
I think you're going back over with the black there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now, you might not even notice that, but that gives it,
It makes it a little sharper,
Yeah.
pop out a little more.
A little bit of definition.
So in the primer, we don't work with two colors, but this adds another whole concept. Little graphite on the edges. And then where the pocket square is peeking out, I kind of wanted to have, accent that particular thing.
So see, she's doing it all in one direction, and then flip it over and do the other one. Again, that's the beautiful part about being able to rotate your tile or book.
So your hand is always in that same position. It's always making that same comfortable stroke, because otherwise, if you turn your hand to accommodate that, you're not going to have the control. I don't anyway. Maybe you're better.
Or even the consistency.
Right.
Like imagine trying to sign your name in different directions.
Right.
It's going to look different.
That's an interesting. I like that comparison. A little love here. I'm going to accent that line.
That actually makes a lot of difference.
Yes, it does. Yeah. It's fun to go in and sculpt your tangles. To me, it's like icing on the cake. It's the fun part, going back, analyzing, what do I want this to look like? I want this to be more dramatic, and it's just fun. Especially if you've got something really cool going on. You want to keep drawing on the tile.
It's like looking at what you did at the end of the day almost.
Yeah.
Just touching it.
Yeah.
I really like
look
that.
at how that
Well, there's a
pops
lot
up.
of
That's
contrast. You got
really
like white and dark and
Yeah.
over and under.
This is called Hurry. Pretty simple tangle. A lot of straight lines. Sort of a Ricky tangle.
Yeah, I would not have ever thought of this as a border.
I know, huh?
That's part of the beauty of this, yeah. And this is a real aura-inspired tangle, but if you do it in a particular order.
Yeah, so you don't rush ahead on this because, because it's a border. I just want you to see what we're going to do here. So don't rush ahead.
Don't rush ahead.
Yes.
So, since this is a book about legends, we should tell you the history of the name.
Hurry.
Hurry is from the rush woven seating on chairs, where that over and under. And so instead of calling it rush, we called it hurry. We're so clever.
I know. We just, it was one of those punchy nights where we were laughing at everything, right?
Right.
Well, whatever brings a giggle to your smile, please go ahead. Isn't that pretty? Just that weaving is really neat. Turn around, do the same thing. Ooh.
So you shifted
yeah, so we're
colors.
going to black now so that you can see the difference.
That's a nice effect. And that would be difficult to do in the regular hurry.
Well, I probably could figure out something.
A
But
challenge.
yeah.
But this way you're not putting down and picking up the pen. You get to do one
Right.
side and then the other.
That's true.
Nice. So, very simple tangle, shifted to a border.
And it doesn't look anything like the
It
pattern
doesn't.
Hurry.
It doesn't.
It went together exactly the same way.
So look at how much graphite. She's really laying that down. And then for something like this, see how she's putting the point to the edge there, because you can really see where the end of your pencil is.
And then with the magic wand, the tortillon, we're going to soften that up a little. I could probably even put more than that, just to...
You can see how there's plenty of graphite on the tortillon to add elsewhere.
But you could see that would make a beautiful border on a mat to a painting, or a mat to a drawing, or a photograph.
Looks like the spine of a book.
Yes.
So
you know I have to have done muka. I mean, I had to do muka. So muka as a border.
looks like the F cleft.
Yes, it does.
Right?
So I'm going back and forth. Fun stuff. Yeah, that's a little tiny detail. If you see what I'm doing there, I'm giving the end, where the round part is, just a little bit of detail, and sometimes it's just enough to make it look, wow, how'd you do that, right?
Looks like one of those wrought iron railings, right?
Yep. Now I didn't plan this, but it ends up just to be about the same. It's about just enough to put another one in there.
Yeah,
I
think you intuitively get that. I don't know how.
I have some intuition like that, but I didn't really plan it. I figured that whatever came would be fine. And that's pretty just as it is, right? What am I doing here?
No, you're just showing off here. This is actually really fun.
So where the muka stem hits the edges, I'm just going over and giving him like some, what do you call that? Like that, what we were talking about before. It
like
starts and ends.
Anchored auras?
Anchored auras. So it stops with a little teardrop, and then you sort of aura off that. Pretty, huh? It's almost swan-like.
Oh, it's like, yeah, it is. Actually, it is. That's better analogy. I like that. And you've got that little tendril poking out the top there. Nice.
I couldn't leave well enough alone, right? So with my black pen, I'm going in and just put the 3 dots or the 2 dots, whatever fits. Give it that William Morris look, where there's no place on the pattern that doesn't have detail in it.
But that's a nice little contrast, the larger dots, because everything else is all line work.
Mm-hmm. So I'm doing something a little different. Rather than shading it, I'm adding shades of gray, which is a totally different thing. It's almost like you going back as a coloring, which is another way of adding shades of gray.
Well, it also emphasizes makes that tendril, the little loop at the top, pop out.
Right.
And the essence of patternness in these borders, what I'm watching you do is whatever you happen to do at one step in the pattern, you just repeat it throughout.
Right.
And then that's the essence of pattern, I guess, right?
Right. So when you're tangling, just make sure you realize that after a while, your hand's going to tell you what to do. I did this, I don't know, a year ago. I can do it here, and you're going to remember all these times and when you've done a tangle a certain way, and you can use the concept or technique in another way. And
whatever you have done, you had to have done the first time once.
Right.
So
this is all a learning curve.
Everything that we've done, we did it the first time. In fact, what Maria's doing now is
pretty much the
first time. So take those chances, to ride those waves as they come in, and see where they take you.
Okay, so what am I going to do now? Another muka tangulation. So now I'm going to do them all going the same way. Basically the same size, but not
Well, you've got it's just
it's
another
almost,
rhythm.
Right, it's just another rhythm.
But you knew which size worked.
Right. So we're adding a little rounding here, almost like mortar to hold it together. Just that. Imagine just adding something like that is such a stroke of genius that it makes you look really good when you do this. So now it's going to either have that stained glass effect or just or wrought iron, like you said. So it's that rounding of the corners.
It's a great technique because it adds such a nice contrast.
It's almost like, like in an old piece of furniture, it's where the dust collects and it creates that darkness, right? So I'm going back in and add with the brown pen and adding that swan effect again, a little bit of a tangulation, just to give you another idea of what direction to take this.
And you could even look at those as like really squished down perfs, right?
Yeah.
I love how when you layer the brown, it has that rich, lush, reddish brown. That's a really nice contrast. And I'm going to guess all of this wasn't
this is
planned.
real time. Rick isn't speeding me up at all. You can, my pen is actually, right? You don't speed that up at all.
I might jump ahead, but I don't speed it up.
Right.
And I'm guessing you just did this on the fly, right?
Yes. I do my best work on the fly. So look at that. It puffs out a different way than the other one. Pretty, huh?
Really beautiful. Okay, so what's next?
I don't remember what I did here. Oh, this was cool. So,
I don't think we've named this, have we?
It's Inc. It's Inc.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that we've ever brought it out, but it's EEK, I think it is.
Okay.
And it's actually doing like the Palma method. You're doing E's, and then you go back and do it the opposite way. And this might take a little practice, but every once in a while my lettering background creeps in. I just think this is the coolest thing. And I've been adding it to some of my tiles lately in different ways. I mean, you can add things to it.
Very cool.
So, just coloring in like that, you almost wonder how this was done, Fun.
It's awesome. Anything can be a pattern.
Anything. I did a whole series of patterns with letter forms. Where did I put those? I'll have to go looking for them.
And so here you can just do the sides and then highlight it, soften it. That is really cool. Yeah,
so there it is there.
Yeah.
Isn't that pretty, though? It's light and it's almost like a wire.
Lacy.
It's lacy, yeah. How fun. Rhymes with bales.
So this looks like...
You know what bales is, so we've been doing it as a border is really cool. Oh my God, I'm going to put another border in here. What did I do? This is a surprise to me too.
So you're just looking for that centerpiece, and I think you're on a roll with that like little rice shape.
Yeah.
And once you put that in one direction, you just repeat it. So the whole idea of bales is that it starts out as a grid tangle with those rice shapes, and then you fill in the inside with all sorts of good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now that's an unexpected place to add color, right?
Right?
Really pretty. Again, very lacy. I have a lot of background with lace and braids and trim. It just sort of sneaks into my work.
So this is a shape that is comes out to play in a few of the fragments.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then just adding a little gray here. It's not necessarily shading, but adding another color in there.
Almost as a texture.
Yep, yep.
And then again, you can always go back. I can see you sort of change your mind on how you're going to do that. Neat. So this is Knightsbridge. And again, this is not something I would have thought of as a border, but notice how there's like this slight curve to what she's doing there, right?
So again, when you go to color in, I can't say this enough, when you go to color in your Knightsbridge or your checkerboard, whatever you want to call it, you have to have the corners kissing, because especially in one like this where there are times when you can't quite figure it out and you think you know, and you never get it right, and you'll see that I kind of...
oh, I think you did that, and you covered it up quite nicely.
I covered it out. But even I do that, even knowing that.
Yeah, I see it right there.
Yeah. But it's not going to make a difference once
Right.
you shade it and everything. It's not going to...
But I like doing the initial lines in black and then coming back in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It just gives it a different flavor. Now the borders, I've been mostly shading both sides, because it really gives it such a pop. It's probably mostly the way you're going to shade borders or lines, or...
It looks like some of the cording, that woven cording.
Or what are those finger
Oh,
puzzle
yeah,
thing?
yeah.
Finger.
Those bamboo finger
Yeah.
locks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. That's
Or
great.
Italian leather pocketbooks. We have a lot
Right.
of this
Yeah.
thing going on right now.
Fun.
So here was the initial pages that I did. You can see some of the other tangles. And on the number 3 there, whatever I did I didn't like, and I colored it in black and went back in with a white jelly roll. And I know we didn't give you a white jelly roll, but if you were to do something that you didn't like, you could do that. But you can see a lot of these are tangles that you would never think to make into a border. That's pretty too. It's very soft.
Nice idea. Very fun.
And that's sort of like that zip, right? The
Yeah.
zip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
Cool stuff.
ideas.
I had a ball doing these.
Awesome.
Oh, again, you see the zippy things there.
So thanks again for hanging out with us.
Thanks for playing along.
And
Can't wait to see what you do with it.
we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Have
Bye.
a great day. Bye now.
Bye.